It started like any other ordinary day in my quiet suburban routine. My alarm rang at 6, dragging me from a heavy sleep. I moved through the motions I'd repeated for years, splashing water on my face, brushing my teeth, combing my hair. These rituals had become second nature. In the mirror, the lines around my eyes and streaks of gray in my hair reminded me that 35 was creeping up faster than I liked. With a weary sigh, I buttoned up my usual khakis and shirt, nothing stylish, just comfortable enough for my consulting job. Downstairs, the scent of fresh coffee drifted through the kitchen. Rachel, my wife of 10 years, was already sitting at the table, phone in hand, distracted. I kissed her cheek as I reached for the pot. "Morning," she said absently, eyes glued to the screen. My chest tightened. She'd been distant lately, always scrolling, always elsewhere. I kept telling myself it was just stress from work. A moment later, our kids, Emma and Noah, filled the kitchen with their laughter, bringing life to the room. I forced a smile, determined not to let Rachel's detachment ruin the morning. As I sipped my coffee, I couldn't ignore the hollow pit inside me. Rachel barely acknowledged the kids' chatter. "Everything okay, Rach?" I asked gently, squeezing her shoulder. She jumped like I'd startled her, then forced a smile. "Yeah, just a lot on my mind at work." I nodded, letting it drop. Everyone gets stressed, I told myself. But deep down, I felt a storm building. The day blurred by errands, wait calls, shuttling the kids to their activities. That evening, Rachel approached me with an odd request. "Alex, I need to schedule a wisdom tooth extraction. Can you take the day off and drive me? I won't be able to after the procedure." I hesitated, surprised, but agreed. "Of course, just give me the details." Relief softened her face. "Thanks, sweetheart." When the day came, I skipped work to take her. She was quiet in the car, staring out the window. "You okay?" I asked. She jumped again, then muttered, "Just preoccupied." I let the silence linger as the hum of the engine filled the car. At the dentist's office, Rachel was whisked away quickly, and I passed the time flipping through a magazine until a nurse led me to recovery. "She's doing fine, Mr. Parker. Still a little loopy, though. Just keep an eye on her." I chuckled, expecting some harmless post-surgery rambling. But when I walked in, Rachel slumped in the chair, eyes half closed, lips curling in a dreamy smile. "Hey, sleepyhead," I teased. She turned her head lazily toward me. "Hey, Ryan," she whispered. The blood drained from my face. "Ryan? Who's Ryan?" Without hesitation, she continued, voice dripping with intoxicated affection. "I love you so much, baby. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me." My chest clenched. Ryan. A name I'd never heard before. My wife's lips spoke it with love. Was she having an affair? My hand shook, but I kept calm. I pulled out my phone and hit record. "So," I said lightly, "you've been having fun with Ryan, huh?" She nodded eagerly, still dazed. "Yes, he's so good to me, in ways you never could be." Her words cut like knives. "And you're planning to keep this going?" "Of course," she slurred. "We're meant to be together." I swallowed the bile rising in my throat. 10 years together, 2 children, and all along she was giving her heart to another man. My world shattered in that chair. But inside the wreckage, something hardened. I would not let this betrayal pass without consequence. I helped her into the car, her rambling fading into background noise as my mind raced with plans. By the time I got her home and tucked her into bed, I already knew what I needed to do. In my office, I replayed the recording, her drunken confessions sounding like a funeral bell for our marriage. The following days were spent digging for evidence: her phone, her computer, her emails, texts, photos, messages. Proof piled up, undeniable. Rachel wasn't just unfaithful. She was in love with another man. And then came the gala. Rachel emerged in an elegant gown, stunning as ever, but her beauty only fueled my rage. "Ready to go?" she asked, pretending everything was normal. "Wouldn't miss it," I lied, buttoning my jacket. At the event, champagne flowed, laughter echoed, and egos filled the air. Then I saw him, Ryan, with his arm draped around my wife's waist. The sight was poison. I clenched my fists, forcing a calm smile as I kissed Rachel's cheek and slipped away. Moments later, I stood on stage, microphone in hand. Feedback pierced the air, silencing the room. "Ladies and gentlemen," I began, voice steady. "Forgive the interruption. I have something urgent to share." Rachel froze, eyes widening. Ryan turned pale. "It seems 2 of your esteemed colleagues have been carrying on an affair," I announced. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Not only betraying me, but their families as well." Silence hung heavy. Then, with a tap on my phone, Rachel's slurred voice boomed from the speakers. "I love him. We're meant to be together." Chaos erupted. Faces turned toward Rachel and Ryan. She stood frozen, horror flooding her features. He squirmed, trying to disappear. And then, the final blow, photos and texts projected on the giant screens. Proof beyond denial. The room exploded. Gasps, accusations, disbelief. Ryan's wife, Kelly, screamed through tears. "You lied to me, to all of us." I glared at him. "Save it. You've both made your beds. Now lie in them." With that, I walked out, leaving destruction behind. By morning, Rachel and Ryan were both unemployed, disgraced, their reputations in tatters. Kelly had the evidence she needed to divorce Ryan. I filed my own papers soon after. The pain lingered, but I refused to let it break me. With my kids by my side, I rebuilt, piece by piece. Work became my focus, purpose replacing despair. Slowly, I opened my heart again. Her name was Emily. With her, I found honesty, warmth, and love untainted by lies. Together, we built something real, something Rachel could never destroy. As for Rachel and Ryan, they tried to cling to each other, but guilt consumed them. Their lives crumbled under the weight of choices they made. Mine, however, was reborn. Betrayal had scarred me, but it had also forged me stronger. From ashes, I built a new life, one grounded in integrity, hope, and love.